Hello, how you doing, people? I'm here with a controversial topic, being on the other side of the bars, dating or having a relationship with an inmate. A lot of women don't want to discuss this topic because you're going to get judged. People will call you stupid. People will call you insecure. People will say to you, why are you wasting your life on somebody who is not there in the physical for you? But I ask you this question. Why do women waste their lives on men who cheat on them constantly? Okay? We can judge for so many different reasons, okay? You as an individual have to know what's best for you, what you can handle, okay? Because we all have our own crosses to bear when it comes to relationships. We all come with negative things from our past, okay? So how can you continuously judge when your relationship is not perfect? When you don't have that ring yet? After how many years? Okay? When you know this man is still sleeping with his kid's mother and you decide to still deal with him. Okay? We all can be judged. So I'm going to tell my story, and I could care less who judges me because I can judge you as well. Okay? A lot of women decide to stay single because they're looking for perfection, and I feel like you will never, ever find a perfect man. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to tell you my story. I am currently with a man who has done not one but two bids. And if you don't know what a bid is, that is a prison sentence, okay? The first one was for 20 months. That's almost 2 years for those who cannot count. And the second one was for 18 months, okay? Was there times I felt ashamed? Yes. Was there times that I closed myself off and didn't want to talk to anybody about it? Absolutely. Because if you have not gone through this, you will never understand what it feels like to be in love with someone who gets incarcerated. I cannot discuss this with somebody who has not experienced this because to them, you're stupid. What are you doing? But would I be stupid to be a side chick? Would I be stupid to deal with a man that constantly cheats on me? Would I be stupid for dealing with a man who doesn't have a college degree? No ambition? There's so many different things in life that we have to deal with. Nobody's perfect. Not even us women that are looking for this knight in shining armor. He does not exist. You have to find what relationship suits you and your needs. Okay? And everybody has their own journeys in life. Everybody. Okay? And even the most perfect relationships that you think are perfect, especially on social media, it's bullshit. There is nothing perfect in life. This life is positive and negative. There's always both aspects. Okay? So in my past, I've dated men that were losers. Okay? And then I dated some really good guys, but they just weren't good for me. Okay? Positive with the negative. Okay? I don't know really how I got to this place where I felt like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on love. I'm going to take a chance with somebody who everybody might think I'm stupid for dealing with. I'm going to take a chance on him because when he was here, he made me feel good. This is not just, oh, I met a guy through somebody else. He was already incarcerated. No, I knew him when he was on the street. Okay? And I'm not judging any women who feel like they have, met a man that was already incarcerated and decided to deal with them. To each its own. But you got to know the consequences to doing that. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to make several videos about this topic. So, bear with me because this first video, I'm just giving you the introduction into how I got to this place and why I'm okay with the choice that I made. So, like I said before, I've been with this man for 6 years. We actually have a son together that came a little later down the line, but initially we dated for some months. I had knew him for almost a year before we really started dating, but 3 to 4 months into us dating, he told me that he was out on bail, that he may or may not have to do a bid. I could have decided to walk away right then and there, but I did not. My heart would not let me walk away from him. And anyone who knows me in real life, my cutoff game is strong. I have no problems cutting a man off. So that's how I knew it was something about this man that was special to me. Okay? So, I went through the phase of, should I be here? Should I not? Are we going to be together when he comes home? Because there's a stigma attached to incarcerated men that, they do gay things in jail. Or, when he comes home, he's going to be trying to fuck every girl in sight. But I've dealt with that in my real life. With not in my real life so much to speak, but with guys who wasn't incarcerated, I dealt with the same shit. So I think I got to the point where it's like, all men come with shit. It's about the person you vibe with, the person you trust, the person you feel that is for you. Okay? Because I've dated guys that came up with surprise babies. We dated for a few months. It's surprise, I'm having a baby with somebody else. And guess what? I wasn't willing to accept that. Okay? In my heart, that wasn't something I was willing to deal with. Because at the end of the day, that child is going to come first. My needs are going to be way down the line. So, like I said before, it's all what you can deal with as a person. The process that you go through just to visit these men is not an easy process. You have to have love for that person to actually get up the strength to deal with it. Okay? I live in New York, right? So Rikers Island is normally the first stop when you get arrested. Well, not the first stop. You go to the precinct. From the precinct, you go to Central Bookings in whatever borough you're in. And from Central Bookings, if they decide to hold you because, your case is a little bit complex, you end up going to Rikers Island or the extension of Rikers Island, which is the boat. in the Bronx. The boat is a piece of cake in comparison to Rikers Island. Rikers Island is like a hellhole, okay? So first and foremost, you can either drive up there, you could take public transportation, and now they even have a free bus service in Brooklyn and Harlem, but it's certain time slots for you to catch this bus going and coming back. And it's one stop, right? I'm from Queens, so you would have to take the train to Queens Plaza or to 21st Street in Queensbridge and catch the Q100 bus. Now, even if you drive, you still have to catch that Q100 bus and take it one stop over the bridge, because you cannot walk over the bridge or you will be arrested, right? So we're on the Q100, about to pull up in front of the jail. And before you can even get off the bus, a correction officer comes on, says his speech. Listen, if you have any contraband, now's the time to get rid of it. You have amnesty that if you have any weapons, anything that you don't need, drugs, whatever, you can leave it on the bus. You will not be prosecuted, right? Then they make you show your ID on the way off of this bus, okay? So you get off the bus. You are led into the first building, in which you have to line up in a straight line. And if it's too many people, they make a semicircle. And they have a correction officer bring their police dog to sniff everybody out, to go back and forth a few times to see if they could smell you out for any drugs, right? Paraphernalia. Once you get cleared of that, now you have to walk towards the lockers. They have lockers outside. That's where you leave your contraband that you want to take with you home. It's not, any drug paraphernalia, anything. Your cell phones, you have to leave any electronics, makeup, outside food, your purse. All you really need to take is your ID, some change, and that key for that locker. If you have children with you, they allow you to bring a bag, but you have to have certain items, diapers, wipes, bottles, cups, blanket. You could bring a blanket for a child. So once you put your stuff in the locker, there's a CO that's looking at your ID again, and then you have to line up to go through the metal detectors, right? You have to take your shoes off. They look through. If you have the baby bag or whatever, you put it in a bucket, send it through, you walk through. If you beep, they make you sign a form to get a strip search, okay? And for me, I used to beep all the time, okay? So I have to go into another room. Now, this is taking more time away from your visit, okay? But fine. You get on another line to get strip search. They make you pull your hands around your bra, flip your underwear over, look, take your pockets out, take your shoes off. They look at the bottom of your feet. They make you click your shoes, open your mouth, under your tongue, okay? So that's a violation right there. Fine. But you love this man, so you willing to do all of this to get through to see him. So after that, you have to go check in. Now it's like a bus portal for each house. It's about 8 houses. I think they closed one of them down, so don't quote me, but it's about seven to eight houses, right? You have to know that inmate's booking case number. They have computers where if you don't know it, you can look it up. So you go to whatever house you're going to that portal. It's a CO behind the desk. You give your ID. You give that inmate's booking case number. If it's your first time, you got to be registered. They have to take a picture of you, and they print out your own form of ID for Rikers, right? So now you have to wait for the room to basically get filled up to get on this bus. It's basically like a cheese bus, but it's a corrections bus. Once the bus driver comes, he scans that white form, the white ID that they gave you. You get on the bus, they drop you to the house, they beep the horn when they get there because there's other women there from a visit that have to get on this bus. So we get off, they get on. Now we have to wait to get searched in that house. Okay, we already just went through a search, maybe a strip search, and now we got to get searched again. Take off your shoes, put your items in a bucket, go through the metal detectors, right? Now this is the point where you have to take your jewelry off. You got a nose piercing, take it out. You got your tongue ring, you got to take that shit out. You can't have any hairpins. You can't even have like any, the girls do their braids and they have the hair jewelry. You got to take those off. Ankle bracelets, all of that. The only thing they allow is like wedding bands and religious pieces like crosses, rosary, beads, whatever. So you go through that checkpoint, and now if you have any items to drop off to the inmate, you have to stand on another line. You stand on the line. There's an officer that tells you what's allowed and what's not. A lot of times they're gonna shut something down because it's too many. They can only have 4 pairs of underwear at one time, but you brought 5. So now you're back and forth to the locker to put stuff in the locker. Fine. So after that's done, then you get on another line to get another search. Now this is the search right before the visit. They look in your mouth, check your pockets, you do the bra thing, you do the panty thing, and then you sit and you wait until they call you. There has been times it took them 2 hours to call me to go on a visit. Now, mind you, it took me probably an hour with all these different checkpoints just to get to that point where I'm waiting for them to call me for a visit. The visit is only for an hour. Okay? So you're going through this whole process. I would say the process could be anywhere from 3 to 4 hours in total for an hour visit. Okay? So now they finally call you. You sit in a room. Now every house is different, but the house that I can recall has long tables with a bench made for about 2 to 3 people. The inmates sit on the opposite side. There's a short glass on the table to separate you. So there's not much contact with that inmate. That in itself is hard because if you love somebody, you want to be able to embrace them, touch them, be close to them. So you have a table separating you, right? Visits for an hour. CO comes around, tells you, okay, visit over. The inmates have to get up first, and you wait till they all go at one time. The ones that visit is up. Then we go, line up to walk out. And now we have to wait for that cheese bus to come back and pick us up. And sometimes it could be anywhere from 15 to a half an hour. So once the bus comes, we go back to the bus portal is what I call it. And on the way out, we have to give that white piece of paper to a CO and then we retrieve our stuff from the outside lockers. Once that's done, no matter whether you drove or you took public transportation, you have to wait for that Q100 bus. And then for the ladies that are waiting for the free bus, they may have missed the bus because maybe their visit took so long that the time slot doesn't add up, and they may have missed the last bus, or they may have just missed the bus, so they have to wait an hour for their bus. The Q100 usually comes pretty quickly because there are employees, okay, of the Department of Corrections that take that bus, okay? It's a public bus. So, you wait for the bus, and now you have a whole commute home. The process is grueling, to say the least, because you're hungry. In between these times, they have vending machines inside, but it's only little snacks, chips, sodas, juice, water, crackers, candy. But you just spent 4 hours with this process. And if you have children, that makes the process even worse. I've seen women with three little toddlers, and they become miserable because you have to fall in line. There's no recreation where the kids could just run around and play. They have to fall in line because a lot of these correction officers are nasty. They treat you like shit, which I don't understand, because if it wasn't for the inmates or the visitors, your ass wouldn't have a job. So they need to get their life together. And Rikers Island is closing really soon. Like I said, they closed one house, and they're going to go one by one and start closing them down. And I can't wait. And they need to burn that shit to the ground. And again, I'm not excusing there are a lot of inmates that deserve to be there. But then there's inmates that did little petty shit. Petty shit. Can't afford bail, and they're stuck on Rikers. They're stuck. So I would say this for the inmates that have women that's riding for them. They need to show more appreciation for these women, because the process is obscene. Okay? So you men need to have a lot of respect for these women. And it's women that faithfully never miss a visit. Never. And guess what? The visits are only from Wednesdays to Sunday, and you can't even go every day. They go by last names. A through L, M through Z, and then there's a couple of days that's A through Z. But it's not for the whole week. It's only Wednesday to Sunday. Okay? And another reason why these inmates need to have respect for these women is because it costs to deal with an inmate. It's not free. It's not cheap. You're going to be spending money. Okay? So, they try to say that black women are not there for black men. But if you go up to Rikers Island alone, you will see that is a bunch of bullshit. We try to support these men when they're down. The problem is a lot of these men, they are not appreciative. And they do come home and they don't do the right thing by these women. And that is the fucking problem. Okay? So I'm not naive that, I'm doing this bid with him and he's just going to be the best thing ever. No, again, twice. And the second time is because he got violated on parole. Parole's a whole nother animal, and we'll discuss that in another video. But I just want to give you this introduction to dating an inmate is not easy. We deserve respect for being there for you men. You men need to do a better job of staying out of trouble. Starve these correction officers out and make it so they ain't got no fucking job because they think they're better than all of us. And, you know, also as Christians, be forgiving, because every man in there is not the same. There are some men who really turn their lives around and never look back. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. Again, I'm going to come with more information. I just don't want to bog you guys down in one video. It's a lot to take in. But I appreciate you. You know, choose wisely when dating an inmate. And I love you guys.